Aloha friends, John here with Studio Oracles. I am on a beach in Maui, Hawaii. As you can tell, if you've been here before, it's a beautiful morning. I just love Maui mornings. I think they're just amongst the best on the entire planet. You know, I've been to some places in the world, not all, of course. Most people haven't, but I just thoroughly enjoy Hawaii. It's home to us as well as other parts of California, and we've been in the Northwest. We've lived in several locations. Even at one point I was in Germany in the military. So I wanted to jump right in because I have an oracle for someone that's in the industry, and I see you in the city of industry. And what I'm getting is the COI. COI, the letter COI for your life. Your name's Richard. And this could have meaning for more than one person. So just because I give a name out doesn't mean it's specifically for that person only, although it is for Richard. You can take this if the thing about Christ consciousness is that it'll expand beyond an individual because we are all collectively one. And so take it if it's yours. Those of you that are new to the channel, please subscribe. Go over to the intro video and you'll see more of why we named it Studio Oracles and what we do what we do. So back to Richard, COI, City of Industry. Cash on investment. This is what I'm getting for your life. COI. You have placed, I see stacks of cash from the past, investments, stocks, bonds, some investments that you tried to dabble in and around in the 30s, right in the mid 30s, lower 30s, when you were 30 something years old. And you put those investments in, and then you're like, man, what happened? I trusted the word of that individual and it didn't work out. Or the individuals, there was 2 to 3 individuals that were actually, that you trusted in, and then that fell through. And then you were really grappling with that for quite a while. You had to battle with some resentment. I saw some people just spreading away from your life, leaving your life. And then I saw a reforming about a decade later or so, right in there. And you found yourself back in the City of Industry, and it's a COI, but it's also a regular location as to why that is. And so, you know, the COI, the cash on investment, the COI, it really means that that's coming back around for your life. That means that the City of Industry is going to pay off in a way, and a dividend, and a situation to where it's going to make up for those losses for your life. In fact, I see studios, and I see it has to do with the movie industry, City of Industry, movie industry, but also the associations behind the scenes and the investments in the future. So just know that when you allow yourself to just be, and not try to struggle by forcing your hand anymore like you used to do, this is where you've learned some things consciously. This is where you've woke up, you've awakened to the point to where you're like, oh, okay, the force of my hand doesn't really work anymore when it comes to this. I need to try a different approach. But it's also because you've awakened in consciousness as the years gone by. You're not operating out of the egoic side of things so much as you're operating out of the now. And you're not even realizing how much you're operating out of the now that's actually beginning to change your life for way better. You're more relaxed in relationships, you're more relaxed in business dealings, you're more relaxed in your associations and the way that you move and live and have your being. And so this is changing things, and now you're beginning to draw in the COI. You're beginning to see what's happened is that you've gained equity by the challenges and the trials and the distresses that you've been through in life. You've gained equity in that area, spiritually speaking, consciously speaking, and you've made an investment in the unseen world, and now it's going to pay dividends. I see over the next 24 to 36 months, you're going to have dividend after dividend. You're going to see that COI come back in. You're going to see the ROI come in. You're going to see those areas of your life begin to pay you back. And it's not just the money, as you know, you've come to this point in your life where it's not just about money. It's not just about hustle. It's not about gaining things in my life, the materialistic side of things, although there's nothing wrong with that when you have that imbalanced perspective, right? You know that. So Richard and others around your life and those that are listening to this, just remember, we are in a consciousness now that is actually bringing things to us through effortlessness, through heart-centeredness. And how do we gain that? How do we receive that into our life? It's by becoming radical receivers, dropping down into the heart-centered space through surrender. And I see this for you, Richard, and those that are relating to this in the city of industry and other studio areas. In fact, I even see a couple in Nashville listening to this right now, and you're really resonating with this, is that you've put in the work, you've put in the effort, and you're like, man, what's the point? What is the point? I've wasted time, right? No, you haven't. You have done nothing but built equity in the consciousness, in the spiritual side of things. You have to count that in because that's the most important side of life. See, where we thought once that the natural side of life was so important, we've mistaken it. And that was okay for a while. It was almost necessary for a while for the ego to actually survive in its woundedness. But now we're living in a place where God is helping us. Love is helping us. Whether you believe that or not, love is who you're made of. It's who you are. Everything else just covers it up. All of our woundings, traumas, the things that we go through, the people that hurt us, the things that we engage in, that we put our hand to, and we think it's just a train wreck. And sometimes it is in the natural. But I tell you, love has you. Especially just speaking directly to Richard. You're not gross. I just heard you say in your mind, I'm gross. Things are gross around me. No, they're not. The only thing that's, quote, gross is allowing ourselves not to believe that we are good. We are innately good. You are a good person, Richard, and others listening to this, you are good. You are a good person. Our actions sometimes, when they match the wounded side of our life, those areas that are deficient in just love, really, then the actions sometimes aren't the best. In fact, maybe you've made some really just some lower vibration, lower frequency decisions. Let's just put it that way. Anytime we say bad, then what we're doing is dipping back into that wounded side of the ego that says, hey, I need love. So if you reframe it and just say, look, I made some lower frequency decisions. Now I'm in a higher frequency. I'm in a higher consciousness. Now I make decisions from that area. If you say that to yourself over and over again throughout the day, you're going to see a transformation like you've never believed. Now, back to the city of industry for you. What I see is there's a key individual named Mark that's going to come up to you, and I'm seeing the color brown around his life. And brown usually symbolizes humility, but it could also mean physical too. Brown, either brown skin or brown suit or brown clothing. This is how you're going to recognize this is the Mark. There's something brown about his life, and that's a very good thing. So look for the color brown, look for humility, look for brown skin, possibly, brown hair. That's important because these are key signs to know that, oh, wait, this person's coming into my life now. I better pay attention, right? And this is why this oracle is for you. So this Mark is going to have a key, like a wisdom key, a knowledge or experiential key that's going to unlock a door for you for the next 24 to 36 months. It's going to open up a door that's going to open up another door through other individuals in the flow of that, or in the train of that, if you will. And when that happens, you're going to know to be able to walk right through with ease. It's going to be more effortless because it's working for you. You're going to begin to enjoy life and be happy, feel a sense of fulfillment like you've never known. And in your 60s and 70s, you're going to be the most productive by meaning the most excited and the most joyful, because you're in your creative craft, doing what you do by making deals, by coming alongside others and funding them. In fact, I see a large fund in your future you're going to help others to fund projects within the industry. And it's going to be very, very amazing. You're going to be blown away in a decade from now. Your health is increasing, so you don't have to worry about not living past, another year. I don't know what somebody told you. I feel like somebody's told you you're not going to live very long. That's not true. It's a lie. It's an illusionary lie, because you're starting to change. Your molecular structure is changing at the sound of my voice. Things are beginning to change for the good, and then your health is following suit. So in a decade from now, you're going to be fit and in shape. You're going to look good. And people are going to surround your life and go, wow, what happened? You look way younger. You look a decade younger. And that's because everything is shifting consciously for you, because you're engaging with it. And this is so important for you and others to hear, is that when you partner with consciousness, when you partner with somebody that's speaking a now word like this in your life, and you embrace it rather than reject it, saying, that's just whatever, that's that woo-woo stuff, that's not even real. When you do that, then you're going to follow the patterns. You're going to continue to follow the patterns that have not served you well. But when you take it and you embrace it and say, wow, there's some truth to that, or you say, hey, that's me, that's a higher level there, that's a more conscious and aware level, like, no, that's me, I'm embracing this, then things begin to accelerate really rapidly. And I'll give you an example of this just so you know. I spoke an oracle over a young lady. She was like in her 20s, and I said, hey, or just in passing, I was like, hey, do you play the violin? And she's like, no. Why would you ask that? And I said, oh, you just allow me to explain, because we were on the subject a little bit of music anyway. And so I go, allow me to explain. I see you in the spirit, in the consciousness, in the reality of who you really are, playing the violin, not only expertly, but passionately, because you were thoroughly enjoying it. She goes, I don't know about that, but I do play the guitar, I play the flute. And I said, well, that's great. That's great. Keep doing that. But I see the violin as just your real passion. It's like your baby. I saw her about a year later or so, and she was just like elated, going, wow, hey, you know what? I was hoping I'd run into you again. Man, I picked up the violin and I just fell in love. It's like it was meant to play it all my life. Well, yeah, you were. That's just it. You were playing it in another realm. Now it's manifesting in this one. So it's because she embraced it. She didn't throw it off. She just goes, let me think about that. See, whenever we say, let me think about that, our ego is trying to process something in our past to try and make it make sense. But if you just ponder and say, let me think about that, and allow it to drop into the heart, allow yourself to sink into it, SYNC, allow yourself to surrender into it, press into it, or lean into the spirit, into the heart-centered space, then guess what? Things start moving quickly. So for you, Richard, for you others listening to the City of Industry, COI, cash on investment in the City of Industry. Things are going to start getting really interesting and really adventurous for you. And you're going to know what the next unfolding is. Don't try to plan a year from now. I highly suggest, don't try to plan a year from now. You can dream. If you try to plan, that's more of the patterns trying to rise up, trying to not let go. They're fighting for survival. But when you look at the present moment and you just let it unfold, you'll know what the next business plan of the step is. And I like to call it the no plan business plan, the plan of the now. And it'll start unfolding for your life. And you're going to see amazing things in the future. So for you, Richard, I would love to hear your feedback whenever you come across this video, this audio, and share with me your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. And by the way, as we're wrapping this oracle up, we leave the comments off for a reason. When you're in a flow or a currency and you're flowing in the current moment, it's not to say that we won't do lives, but when you're in this moment and then somebody comes in and just starts cussing you out, dropping the F-bombs all over, exploding on you because they're trying to argue religiously, or they're trying to say you're operating out of some dark demonic thing or whatever, or they come along and they just want to argue. It doesn't serve well for the state of bliss that we find ourselves in the current moment. It robs your peace. And that's just what Amy and I have decided. It's not that we can't handle the comments. Believe me, we've been just bludgeoned online with negative comments in the past. So we just decided, for our own peace, for our own sense of real calm and real joy and bliss, we just turn them off. Now, you can get a hold of us if you have some feedback. We'd love to hear from you. You can email us. That way, if some troll comes along and just wants to just try to slice and dice us to pieces, then we can just hit delete. And it's pretty easy that way, because you can tell within the first moment you open it up, but even before you open it up. So you can email us at studiooracles@gmail.com. studiooracles@gmail.com. Another email address that you can use is 18inchesdown@gmail.com. That's 18 inches spelled out, down spelled out, at gmail.com. 18inchesdown@gmail.com. Both of those email addresses, you can get a hold of us. All right, until next time, hui ho, aloha from the beautiful island of Maui. All right, aloha.